Boom. What's up, Waves Capital? It's Royce Jacob, and welcome back to the International Bank of Bitcoin. In this video, we're going to be talking about how and why Bitcoin has been significantly outperforming every other financial asset on the planet in the wake of the banking crisis that we're currently experiencing. Hint, hint, gold 2.0 and the greatest chaos hedge maybe to ever exist. Okay, so more on that in a little bit. You guys know we'll be diving into the charts. We have to talk some price action. Bitcoin has come such a long way off of such strong volume and such strong fundamentals as well, which is really going to be the focus of this video. But I do want to dive into the charts and talk to you guys about why, although I think more upside is to come, I do think that there is a very significant ceiling that we're approaching. And I want to talk to you guys about how I plan on trading that. Okay, so on the note of trading, for those of you who stick around to the end, we'll also take a little bonus look at good old Riot Blockchain and or Riot Platforms. Okay, so that's for the end. For now, though, we have to discuss the king, because this thing, I mean, even as I record this, reaching new 2023 highs, levels it hasn't seen in over a year, or almost a year, I guess, since last summer. And you guys know, we're Bitcoin OGs around here, and we always love to see it. Okay, so again, we will dive into the charts, talk some technicals, but we always have to set the fundamental base layer for our technical argument. So we'll kick it off by reading over the newsletter that I just wrote to close out this very crazy week of March. And again, I want to talk to you guys not only about how I think Bitcoin will look over the remainder of the spring as we progress through spring of 2023, but how the equity markets will look as well. And again, why I don't only see upside for Bitcoin, the Bank of Bitcoin, but for some other plays as well, because I think this guy might be stepping in to save the day very soon here, March 22nd, 21st, 22nd. Okay, so let's read over this. I'll expand on any macro points that I feel necessary, and then we'll dive into the charts, talk Bitcoin, and then do a little bonus Riot review, maybe even take a quick look at Render as well, okay, because I haven't covered it in a long time, and I feel like I owe you guys that. Okay, so it's Friday. U.S. economy is on the brink of collapse as the saga continues. Banks continue to struggle, with First Republic Bank, which is down 35% at the day of recording, March 17th, being the latest domino to fall. Banks are the bones of the U.S. economy, so to some extent, this fear can be justified. This contagion effect continues to plague the equity markets, and after a few sessions of relief, we're back into extreme fear territory on our good old fear and greed index. So we're barely there, just barely fear. I actually think we closed the day at a 24. So you know what? We are officially and objectively in extreme fear territory. You guys know, good old Oracle of Omaha, greedy when fearful, fearful when greedy. Maybe not be extremely greedy for sure, but you know what? Definitely don't be extremely fearful either. That's my opinion at least, okay? So, although equities are struggling, there's a very clear beneficiary of all of this, and that is, you guessed it, Bitcoin. I repeated this ad nauseum back in 2020, 2021, but it's been a while since I've done so I'll repeat it once again. Bitcoin is the only provably scarce asset at scale on Earth, okay? Bitcoin is the only provably scarce asset at scale on Earth. Yes, gold is rare, and yes, diamonds are rare, but they're perceptively rare. A meteor could fall to Earth with a massive gold deposit in it, and all of a sudden, gold wouldn't be looking quite as shiny. Asteroid mining as well. I'm sure a lot of you have heard that if you've done any digging in gold and precious metal sector. But even better, Bitcoin is gold 2.0. There are only 21 million BTC that can ever exist, and it's definitely going to be less due to early tokens lost in the years when you're buying pizzas with Bitcoin. And this is proven to be true by the blockchain. This is a beautiful and a revolutionary technical feature that was implemented at Bitcoin's genesis, and it's also the feature that got me initially excited about Bitcoin back in 2016. I've actually posted a few videos on the subject back in the day, 2 years ago, probably, when did I post these? You can tell by the thumbnails that they're old, but if you'd like to listen to a less well-spoken Royce, who had less bags under his eyes, gotta keep the glasses on, then give these guys a quick YouTube search. Royce Jacob, Bitcoin equals Bitcoin digital gold, gold 2.0, Bitcoin chaos hedge. You can look all that up. Find some of those older videos, a little more lighthearted, I guess, the early days. But Anyway, the primary point I'm trying to push here is the fact that Bitcoin, in some sense, is the largest bank in the world with $500 billion plus market cap. I believe $520 billion at the time of recording. It is a global, borderless bank with no CEO and no board who will inevitably make some bad decisions sometimes. We're seeing that right now, and that's what's plaguing the banking sector. Centralization. What Bitcoin has is its developers too, but it's devoted holders and its validators. Once again, shout out to today's MVP, Riot. And this decentralized nature is what makes Bitcoin beautiful. Shout out to you guys over at WavesCap. Our Riot calls printed today. More on that at the end, I guess. But Bitcoin is a chaos hedge. This is the reason that Bitcoin is significantly outperforming every other asset on the planet right now, even in the wake of the international bank crisis we're experiencing. Got the International Bank of Bitcoin, and as soon as I wrote that, I was like, I got to record a video on this. Okay, so International Bank of Bitcoin, you guys, obviously not a real thing, but figuratively speaking, I think you get my point, okay? So I know it was a rough day for most of our positions, getting into portfolio talk a little bit. But again, thankfully, we had those Riot calls to mitigate much of the losses. You guys, most of the markets were bloody today. You can see the S&P 500 down 1.5%. Bitcoin ripping as we speak, about to test. This might be cool. We'll probably see a test of resistance on this ascending channel over the course of this video, which maybe right now as we're just glancing at this. But Bitcoin absolutely crushing it, even as, again, the S&P 500, the NASDAQ, Apple, Tesla, they're all down. Bitcoin is on absolute fire. And, of course, Riot is as well. So, thankfully, those Riot calls absolutely printed for us today. So, regardless of what we saw today, I stand by my thesis that the FOMC meetings next week, Tuesday and Wednesday, March 21st and 22nd, will encourage further upside for the markets. I'm playing the psychological game here. The Fed is already hated by many for what's unfolded, and human nature, for the most part at least, is to not want to be hated. Okay, I think most of us can definitely agree with that. If they raise interest rates, this is my opinion, by 50 basis points, they'll continue to be the villains. If they raise by 25 basis points to 0.25%, then they'll be aight. If they pause, they will be heroes. And if Jerome Powell mentions anything about a potential reversal or lowering interest rates, cutting interest rates, this guy's going to be a god. Okay? So everyone wants to be a hero, you guys. I think, again, most of us can agree with that. But I do think that the Fed can come in to save the day. They know that they messed up here. They know that they're really the core reason that a lot of these banks are failing by raising interest rates too fast and really just destroying a lot of these previously perceptively scarce financial instruments that the banks were holding that just completely degraded. So the Fed needs to step in. This is their opportunity to be the hero, and I think they'll do so. Regardless of what the Fed does, Bitcoin's looking good. A lot of our positions are looking very promising, you guys. Before we dive into the charts, if you want one of these bad boys in your email inbox every single morning, and of course, a complete breakdown of my entire personal portfolio, you want to know exactly which calls I have on Riot, how I'm trading my crypto portfolio, all of my call options, when I'm buying, when I'm selling, when I'm taking some profits, when I'm shaving some profits. Literally every action I take on a daily basis is here, along with, once again, the daily newsletter. It's a 2-for-1 right here. All of that for $15 a month, $40 for every 3 months. You can try it free for 7 days. If you don't like it, just peace out. But that is the first link in the description if you want to join Waves Capital. And, if you do, I look forward to seeing you on the inside. But if not, no worries. As always, I appreciate you watching this video. And, I know a lot of you, even if you're not subscribed or really a member of the portfolio newsletter group, you've been with me for a while. You've been trading Riots through the volatility, through the ups and downs, the craziness that we've seen over the years. So I know a lot of you guys are just YouTube viewers, and that's perfectly fine. But once again, if you want to step up the trading game, learn from my failures, learn from my wins, join Waves Capital. All right. So that's that, you guys. Plug out of the way. Bitcoin is very, very quickly approaching. I mean, you can see right here, it just happened. Let's go to the 4 hours to see how close we got here. I mean, so close to the line of resistance on this ascending channel right here. And again, you can tell that this is traders front running the action, right? we got wave two. We saw clear wave two once this potential short-term inverse head and shoulders or regular head and shoulders pattern was broken. Shoulder head, worried about another shoulder, boom, fake out bear trap, rip to the upside. That is a short-term wave two. And right now we're getting very close to some of my points of resistance, okay? So first level of resistance, what we're seeing right now, of course, is the line of resistance on this ascending channel. So this is speaking short term, right? I'm going to get rid of these because I want to zoom out a little bit. So let's go to the daily, and I want to talk to you guys about what this range is right here. And if you guys have been watching my Bitcoin videos for the past half a year, maybe probably more than that, I guess, this has been my target range for a very, very long time, okay? The reason for that being, this is the range at which Bitcoin saw its prior macro low. You know, I'm just going to erase all these right now, okay? Bitcoin's 200-day moving average, you can see it bounced perfectly off of that, and we just ripped since then. But anyway, Bitcoin obviously has been in a downtrend for a very long time, since the high it saw in November of 2021 at almost $70,000. High, low, higher low, lower low, okay? And really, we have yet to retest until today, literally until today, the low candle wick of this prior macro low from May, June of 2022, okay? So the reason this is my range is because we only have a single candle wick here. The second one, I mean, you could say this is conservative, but we only have one candle wick going down to about 26.7. So that was at the very low end of my range. You can see right now we're sitting almost exactly there. So traders are looking at the same thing. But a lot of times when it comes to these lows, I like taking multiple candles into account. You can see right here, this is a strong floor. Really a lot of candle closures right at this level around 28,500. And that is going to be the area at which I really think Bitcoin could slow down on this wave too. So 28,500 from current levels is about 6.5–7% up from where we are at the time of recording. But it doesn't matter when you guys are watching. We'll probably see this maybe even by the time it's uploaded, okay? So Bitcoin is facing major resistance there. When you're looking at RSI as well, we're looking pretty topped out. We're still looking strong, but again, we're getting a bit overbought in this moment as, again, the mania around Bitcoin builds in the wake of these bank runs and whatnot, okay? So I do think we'll slow down soon. I do think that, some profit takers are going to be in the mix. You bought down here, you held to right now. Let's get a quick price range on this. From the low we saw just on March 10th, just a week ago, we're already up like 40%, which is bonkers. So I do think we may slow down a little bit, but Bitcoin has proven itself as, a safe haven asset, as an asset that's appreciating in value as the greater markets decline. And, that's really, really good news for the Bitcoin bulls like us. And it's really validating to see because, again, we've thought this for so long, and we've been talking about this for years, literally, okay? So, awesome to see that. Let's take a quick look at Riot. Riot looking freaking amazing today, you guys, on absolute fire, even outperforming the likes of, Mara and Bitfarms and whatnot. So, you always love to see the day one outperforming the rest. And as of right now, this head and shoulders pattern that we've been talking about for about a month now, probably over a month actually, is looking freaking amazing. So Riot, again, locked in a break of short-term resistance. That's great news. It catalyzed really the next leg of this inverse head and shoulders pattern, massive inverse head and shoulders pattern dating all the way back to August of 22. So can Riot 421 is the day right there, because as many of you know, as members know, that is the date of our options expiration. So that's just the date I use when I include charts sometimes. But you guys, this is looking great. I do think that this inverse head and shoulders pattern back up to double digits is pretty much inevitable at this point, even if we do see some short-term downside. Maybe we go sideways for a couple of sessions or something, but ultimately I think we reclaim $10, and I wouldn't be surprised if we climb higher than that. And if this really was the bottom that catalyzes a move up, maybe to Riot's macro low, get rid of that, to Riot's macro low that it hasn't yet retested around $12.80 to $13. Okay, so that's Riot. Close it out with a little bonus render review. Render outperforming the majority of cryptocurrencies. Actually, Bitcoin dominance is crushing right now. Bitcoin is really the assets, really the name of the game right now. But as far as altcoins go, Riot is outperforming most. And, in my mind, as I always say in the newsletter updates, $40 or a $10 billion market cap is inevitable in my mind. It may take 2, 3, 5, 10 years, but in my mind, it's inevitable. This project is awesome. And although the short term doesn't really concern me that much given my $40 price target, I do think a climb in the shorter term to the top end of this range, because we've reclaimed this range, following a breakout of resistance, is possible. And that would take us up to 220. And hey, if the Fed comes to the rescue, if they bless the markets, if JP is Superman, then I think it could be much higher than that. Same goes for Riot and Bitcoin and, all our AI plays as well. Okay, so we'll call it there, you guys. I appreciate you watching, and please let me know in the comments down below what you think will unfold for Bitcoin, for Riot, for the stock market overall over the coming week and over the coming month. And just let me know what you're trading, what you're excited about. Always look forward to talking to you guys in the comments. And again, if you're not a part of Waves Capital yet, I encourage you to at least give it a shot. So I'll see you in there as well. And until next time, always remember, take action, make waves. Peace.